Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would show you what's going to be one of my last minute Christmas gifts. And I have just under a week left before Christmas to get these finished, but I have one finished and I'm going to make two. So I finished one and I thought I would walk you through how I did it and to maybe stitch a little bit with you to share what I'm doing. But this it's going to go into a shadow box frame, I believe. I have some shadow box frames this size. And I have two friends that live down the street from me, and they own two houses in the same little four-house section of town that are all basically identical, but they're all a little different color. Actually, my one friend owns two of the houses. One is his residence and one is his bookstore. So anyhow, they're cute little gingerbready stick style Victorian houses. And they have picket fences and they're just cute, charming little houses. And I invited them over for Christmas morning for brunch, and I was like, I want a little gift for them. So this is my one friend's house. Hers is the greenhouse of the four. And I put this together. So I'm going to move Anne's house down the road here and bring you in the beginnings of David's house. And it has just been roughly pinned together and planned out. And all I did was, I knew what their house looked like. I could take some pictures and layered some fabric in tradition, in my usual style of kind of photo collage. But because it's in layers and I have to stitch in under layers and then put things on top, I am not going to baste everything down at this point. I'm actually going to take off a few things. So this is the bottom layer. I'm going to take off my picket fence. Oh, I guess the door / sidewalk is coming with it. And before I start stitching, I'm going to show you kind of the other parts of it. So here's his front door. It's going to go right here. And again, this is, oh, hi, Maeve. Is she coming on camera? Hi, baby girl. You've become quite the YouTube celebrity, Miss Maeve. And then I had these little guys as his windows. And then I was over there. Oh, Maeve, let go of the pad. No, let go. Thank you, baby girl. Sorry about that. Realized that they weren't the right scale. So I'm taking that one off. I'm actually going to put it here. He has two little windows next to the door, but this is representational, not a measured architectural draft drawing. So, and then I have these little bits of blue that I'm going to stitch on here as the window. This is going to be my basic plan, but I want to stitch the yellow first, then stitch the white eaves on and the lace and things like that. So let me take you through it. So what I did, obviously I have my fabrics in the colors of the building. Again, I'm going to take these guys off and set them aside, and they'll go on when the time comes. I thought this was really clever. Maybe I'm just being super clever or think I'm being clever. This little bit of, the kind of lace that you thread ribbon through, and for the railing of the porch. I wish that this lace and this little bit of heart lace were white, but they're not, because their trim on their house is white. But, I got to work with what I have. The background, I should take this from the back forward. The background fabric is just a piece of, as K3N calls it, woolly blanket. I found this old kind of army blanket here in the house when I moved in. And old wool army blanket. I'm assuming it's an army blanket just because it's dark green. And just put it aside because I didn't have a need for it at the time. And then when I was doing some other work a while back, I was like, oh, I have that green blanket. I can use that for felt for the backgrounds of things. And there might be a few cat hairs on it, but we'll deal with that when we have to. Okay, so I'm going to set all my little gingerbreads aside and, of course, not have the thread I need. So I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. I had to go get my box of pearl cottons because all the threads that I have set out here that I pulled out were the ones I used for the greenhouse, and so I didn't have any of the yellows. So where is my bright yellow? I have this bright yellow, and I think that's going to have to be it because I don't feel like going and digging through my stranded floss to find the right color. Okay, where can I put all this? Although, well, we're gonna again work with what we have. We have black cat shenanigans happening off to my right, so if the table shakes or what have you, that's what's going on. Okay, let's thread up a needle and sit and talk, sit and stitch. How about that? How does that sound? And I can't seem to thread a needle today. My hands are cold and a little dry because I just scrubbed some stuff in the kitchen, but I was just downtown at the Edmund Pettus Bridge, and if you're not, familiar with the history of Selma, Alabama and the Civil Rights Movement, it's a pretty well-known landmark, but we had visitors, special visitors today. Okay, I'm going to switch my needle because that one, no, that's the one I like, isn't it? What's this one threaded with on? No, this is random thread. Okay, this is usually my favorite needle, but I think as my hands are cold and dry, I can't operate. But anyway, our special guests in town today were a group of monks who are doing a walk for peace. I don't know if, I believe they started in Texas. I could not hear very well where I was standing. So I missed a lot of the information, that like the speeches and stuff. But I guess I've taken the pins out of all these parts. And again, I should baste, but I'm not going to. I'm not gonna. I did the other one in the other room, so my supplies are a little bit everywhere. Okay, we're gonna start stitching here. And so they came, they've been walking across from wherever they started, and their final goal, intention is, I think it's 120 days of this walk for peace, and they will be ending in Washington, D.C. And so it was very nice to go down there. You could go down there. I have my my bracelet that they handed out, and I picked up a few for some friends, and get the blessings, and then we all walked together across the bridge, and very moving, and we threw flower petals into the Alabama River, and yeah, and it was actually a beautiful day. Yesterday was absolutely nasty day. It was warmer yesterday, but it was rainy and ugly, and actually lost power briefly last night after I went to bed. So yeah, I'm glad they weren't here and walking yesterday. But yeah, I was out in the cold. It's not cold. I mean, as I jokingly say to my northern family, it's cold. It's Alabama cold. It's not Chicago or northern Michigan cold. But just being outside for a couple hours, and then I came in and I was scrubbing some things that needed to soak, had been soaking in the sink, and so my hands are dry. I didn't grab my lotion, which is probably somewhere, but it's not right in front of me. So maybe I'm gonna have to take a little pause. So here I'm just doing a running stitch back and forth to kind of, symbolize the siding on the house, and I'm just going to do that all the way across here. And so I think I'm going to stitch silently, and I can either fast forward or just cut it out when I edit and come back and show you where we are. All right, I'm almost to the bottom of the section here. Now, if you really are particular, you can mark out lines. These are maybe a little wonky, but we're talking about 100-year-old houses, so the real houses are probably a little wonky, although their houses are a lot less wonky than my house. But you know, we're going for what we're going for. We're going for what we're gonna get here. All right, I'm gonna, I think, leave that and tie this off. And I hope my space heater is not making noise. I should check that. I mean, it's making noise. I hope it's not coming out on the camera and being annoying. Because I have struggled with all my microphones. I have plug-in microphones, I have Bluetooth microphones, and every time I edit a video where I've tried to use one of my microphones, either my hair makes noise, my clothing makes noise, my breathing is too heavy, or the battery dies, and then I have tons of video with no sound. And I don't have time for that. So I found that the camera is pretty good. Oops, I got stitched in. Not ready for you to be stitched in yet. All right, so this upper part of the house I'm going to do vertically, because in typical Victorian stick style, it's you know, it's got different, I can't remember. Can't see their house from here. They're a couple blocks away. I can't remember if it had fish scale or some kind of fancy patterned siding up there, but we're going with this because this is, yeah. Okay. Anyway. But yeah, it's a little chilly in this room because I have to keep this room closed off from the rest of the house because this is Maeve's domain. I think I've mentioned that, my black cat's domain, because she doesn't like the other cats. She doesn't really fight with them. Some of them pick on her, but she's just happier alone. She spent a good many months when I was trying to acclimate her to the rest of the house just hiding under furniture, behind furniture, under furniture, getting very stressed out. So she lives in here now, but that also means I have to keep the doors closed. And so the heat, even though there's, heat registers in here, doesn't come in here, because this house is in the middle and it's on the north side of the house. So I'm sitting here in front of big windows, but they don't, there's no heat transfer, which is great in the summer, but it's a little chilly this time of year. So anyway, so I have this tiny little ceramic heater over here, kind of just blowing on my feet from the side of me, because it's just, I have a radiant oil space heater behind me, but it takes too long to actually get. If I'm gonna be in here all day, I turn that on, but I'm not gonna be in here. Well, I'm gonna be here a good portion of the day, but it's later in the afternoon than I had hoped to get to this, and I have plans this evening to get together with a friend. So, make hay while the sun shines, even if the sun goes down in an hour. It's actually getting quite beautiful outside right now because the sun is getting low. But we're just a few days away from solstice, so it will start turning around. And before we know it, it will be staying dark, past dinner time, supper time. All right, I gotta keep all my little bits and bobs in one pile or I'm gonna lose them. There's something I was gonna chat with you all about, and now I don't remember what it was. Sorry, I keep flipping the work all over the place, but that's the only way I can do this efficiently, is to turn it, flip it over, turn it, all the things. And I probably keep moving it toward myself and off the camera as well. Gotta be mindful of that. Maybe I move you toward the edge, more toward the front of the table. That will help. There we go. I moved everything around in here a week or two ago. I get like that. That's why I needed something, a little bit bigger house than an apartment when I was divorced and on my own, because I need space to change my mind and move things around. The way I had it set up before, and I think I did take you on a tour or showed you, I had this work table parallel to the sewing machine table, sewing machine cabinet, and they were kind of sticking out into the room, so they made like a U-shaped work center. I liked it, but it was in the middle of the room. I don't have great overhead lighting in this room. There's just a ceiling fan, and I have task lighting. I have an OT light next to me. I have my ring light here. I had some other task lighting, but as it got wintry, darker, I just didn't have enough good light to work and film at. And I had a sofa under this window. I'm right in front of the window here. And Maeve loved the window, the couch up in front of the window, but it was just space that was taking up, that I did sit on the couch occasionally and stitch and things like that, and journal with Maeve, but it was, if it were just a big comfy chair, it would have been one thing, but it was a whole 3-seat sofa. And I was like, I don't have room for that in here. So I moved it into my guest room where I did have room for it, and it's nice. Now when I have guests, which I don't have often enough. Okay, y'all, where'd I put that needle? There we go. Isn't that the whole reason for having, you know, pincushion? Anyway, so now when I have people stay over in my guest room, you know, once or twice a year, there's a nice, I think, fairly comfortable bed. It could be better, but there's a little sofa in there. So if they want to sit in there and, you know, not be with me all the time, then they can do that. And, or, you know, just put their suitcase on it, whatever. So I'm just, this is a little bit of white twill tape. I don't know, again, where this exactly came from. As most things in my stash, they're just there, and I go digging around, and I find them when I'm ready for them, and happy to have them. So it's just a little white twill tape to kind of show the roof line there. Their houses have pretty little gingerbread and stuff. Oh wait, did I want to do, I do. Where did that piece go? That was one I did not. Oh, bugger. Keep set aside, evidently. I don't know where the piece went that I had already cut for this, but just white satin rat tail cord. This is, I went through a brief obsession with kumihimo cord making earlier this year, and I was going to do a video on it. It happened right about when everything went to hell this summer, so it didn't happen, and I never got back to it. But I'm never going to finish this particular piece of kumihimo. Correct me in my down below, because I'm probably saying it wrong. But I want to, again, their houses have like really cute gingerbread and trim. So I kind of wanted, I'm just going to put that around that part of the house to frame it and suggest that situation. Actually, I'm gonna oh, what did I just, see now, when I had the camera off briefly, I did go find my hand lotion, and now my hands are too sticky to work, or too, yeah, not sticky, they're too slick. So that's a problem. Okay, I just did a couple little stitches into the cord, and you know, at the end of the cord there. Now I'm just going to do regular couching around here. I have had, I feel like there was something I was talking about before I couldn't find my rat tail, but I don't remember what it was. Anyway, so gonna move on. I've had this idea, not this specific idea, but an inspiration of doing some little houses percolating in the back of my brain for a long time. And I keep coming up with different, like, oh, maybe I'll do them this way. I kind of want to do some three-dimensional, I mean, I guess these are somewhat three-dimensional, textured, but like the little boxes, stitched boxes. I'd like to do either like a rice bag or stitched box with either like a little street scene all the way around, little house, you know, neighborhood kind of thing, or the little box looking like a little house or a little building. I don't know. So probably in 2026, I'm going to explore that idea some more. So here in the corner, I've come down on the inside, and I'm just going to kind of try to make that corner, hope you can see what I'm talking about, as tight as possible. There we go. Oh, I think I was talking about rearranging my room. That's what I was talking about. So yeah, I wanted to have a little more floor space behind me, and in the middle of the room, I had done a somewhat big job not technically upholstery, but I made cushion covers for one of the other houses in this row, the periwinkle blue one. My other friend lives in. I made covers for her porch furniture, cushions and things for her porch furniture a couple months ago. And the way I had the room set up, it didn't work, because when I put my cutting table fully extended and opened, I had no room to move around around all the sides of it. I don't know, it was just bugging me. And then I had the light problem. I didn't have enough light when I come, because I've been coming in here more in the evenings, or late afternoon, and just didn't, it was too dark to work. So I decided to move everything around and make, space by moving that couch out of here. And and then now over here to my right, where Miss Maeve is off camera observing, but I did put an old bed pillow and pillowcase on my corner of this table, so she can still sit and look out the window and be comfy. So we came up with a compromise, Maeve and I did, and it seems to be working for both of us. Because now I have a little bit of natural light here. It's what is it? After 3 o'clock, not quite 4 o'clock. So it's gonna be getting dark soon. Darker, dusky, sundowny. But with my table lights and what have you, I have enough to work with and to film with. I am just maybe sort of kind of going to have just enough thread, I think, to anchor this off here. I'm going to snip it. But so I put this under the window, which I like, and then I turned my sewing machine cabinet against the wall instead of sticking out into the room, and most of the time that's going to work perfectly. I've got some little reading lights mounted on the wall above it, so I can aim those at my workspace, and of course the lights from under the machine itself. Okay, there we go. All right, I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna put that little roof piece on. And, but if I have the floor space still, oh, I stuck it in that. I have too many pincushions now. Before I didn't have enough, now I don't have too many. Now if I'm working on a big project, like something large, like a quilt or like those cushions and things, I can pull it away from the wall and put up the back extension, or I can turn it and have it, more into the middle of the room. But it doesn't have to be there all the time and have to walk around it. The other thing I didn't consider when I was rearranging things was that there are 2 heat vents in this room, but they're at this end of the room, and with the stuff kind of cutting the room in half, the heat wasn't getting to me on the other side of the room, so now it is. All right, I'm gonna do a little, is it fly stitch? Okay, so I came up right here. And now, where are we? I'll try to zoom in when I'm editing. And then I'm gonna come in, right across from it, and then come back out. The nice thing about this twill tape is it has a herringbone type weave. Now I'm gonna come down straight in the middle, come back up to the side and up a little 45 degrees from where I went down. I know I'm stitching white on white, y'all, but this isn't supposed to be a tutorial, so I'm just kind of telling you what I'm doing. Now I'm just gonna shut up and do it. So yeah, I think I like this setup for my room, at least for now. I've had this room a million, no, maybe not a million, half a dozen different ways since I moved in, and well, it was my bedroom briefly, until I got the new bedroom, my bedroom done. But so it was the sewing room, then it was a bedroom, then it was the sewing art room again, and then it's been rearranged in a couple different ways since I moved sewing stuff back in here. So that's just kind of the way. And I think that couch that was in here has been in 3 different places in this house. It was kind of an add-on. I went to a, what do you call it? They do estate sales, but they also have a, kind of it's an antique store. I don't know, whatever it is. These people who do estate sales and stuff like that. And because I wanted this particular chair, and that I got the chair, but when I was getting the chair and the guy said, I can deliver that. He's like, you interested in this sofa that's on the truck? Because it's already on the truck and I'll just bring it to your house too. And I said, sure. I think he charged me $50 for it. It's nice. It's very heavy now that I've moved it to 3 or 4 different places in the house. It's very solidly built. My cheap Ashley Furniture one couch that I bought when I moved to Tennessee, that thing weighs nothing. I can pick it up practically with one hand. But this thing, I don't know what brand it is, but it's got a solid wood frame for sure. But yeah, it's been handy. So I did that. I think the fly stitches when they're just by themselves. Words are not working for me. Put it in the comments if you know what that stitch is when you make a row of them. I don't know. But I want to start, I didn't want to turn and come down because I want the little V's pointing this, on the eave to make it look however it looks. Does that, I don't, yeah. Can't take the pin out now. Speaking of rearranging furniture, and it's a personality trait of mine. If you've been with me a while since I moved to this house, you may have already noticed. But I think when my brain gets overwhelmed with things, I have to change my physical environment. And so I no longer have the money for major remodeling projects, or moving to a different state and buying a 130-year-old house, or things like that. But so moving furniture from one room to the other, that's where it has, that's what it is now. But yesterday, smaller version of that, I started by I needed to just do a general cleanup of my environment, because that's another thing that stresses me out. I'm not a clean freak or anything like that, but when the noise in my head gets to be too much, I need to quiet it. If the environment around me is either literally too noisy or visually too noisy, and even though I'm not a minimalist, I'm definitely a maximalist in my design style, but decorating style. But things have to be in their place. It works better for me if things are clean and in their place occasionally, so I can mess them back up again. But anyhow, that's how yesterday started, and I needed to put some things. I pulled a lot of stuff from out here into the other room because it was warmer to sit in there and work in the evenings, and just random stuff like that. And so I started with vacuuming, but then wanted to clean my bedroom, vacuum my bedroom, and there was things that needed to be put away in there. And one thing led to another, and 6 hours later, I had I'm gonna put my windows on now. I had, of course, vacuumed, cleaned up a lot of things, and I had, yeah, it's too wide for this space. Yes. But then I had all these random pieces of framed pictures, artwork, kind of photographs and what have you around, and they were where in the general vicinity of where I wanted to hang them on the wall, but I just never, they were just leaning against the baseboards in that general vicinity and not where they were supposed to be, or hung. So I said, I had one by my bed that's been bugging me for a while, and the kittens keep farting around in there and knocking it over, and they did kind of break the frame a little bit, but nothing noticeable enough that I care about. I know I have some short applique pins in here, but they're the same color heads as my other pins. I don't know which one's which. Anyway, sorry. So I got my hammer and my level and my picture hooks or little nails, whatever I was going to use, and I went around the house and I hung up a ton of pictures. I mean, I had some things on the wall, but these are just random. And this reminds me, there's one under this shelf to my right that needs to go up in this room that I did not come in here and do it. Anyhow, but one of the things that was keeping some of them from being hung was that they needed to be hung way up high on my walls that are, you know, I have 12.5-foot ceilings. So I wanted these big, I had 4 of them. Hung up high in like a quadrant of the 4. In order to get up there, I had 2 choices. One choice was to go out to the shed and get my really long extension ladder, which is really heavy, and I don't like ladders. And I knew I had to like have tools and climb up and down and have these big pictures that, you know, I'd have to hold and measure. So I'm like, no, I'm not doing that, especially when I'm home alone. Not gonna happen. But my scaffold is still assembled and in my guest room. Actually makes a nice little kind of nook over top of the couch I just moved in there. I guess I could cover it with like a circus tent, make a fabric tent over it, and it would be like a little canopied couch, but why would I want to do that? Hey, May. So I moved a bunch of stuff, and I rolled that sucker out down the hall, and I got that up on the wall. There's so much more that space on that back hall that I want to hang stuff, but some of it's stuff I haven't finished yet. So anyway, so that was kind of a big job because I hung probably those 4 plus a small quilt in the hall and at least 4 things in my bedroom and a small thing in the blue room that took all of like less than 5 minutes to do. And that was annoying that I'd never done it, hadn't done it so far. Oh, actually there were 5 or 6 things in my bedroom. So I got it done, y'all, and it felt pretty good at the end of the day to not, the next time I vacuum, I don't have to either move these random framed things or vacuum around them and let the dust build up behind them along the baseboards. So that was a win. Okay, this is why we baste and don't do pins, because the thread gets wrapped. All right, as you can see, I'm just doing a simple change stitch around these window things because I debated doing like a blanket stitch or something, but I thought the chain stitch, it added a little something something. But anyway, all right, I'm out of thread there. I'm going to finish that window, but then I'm going to move on and see, you don't have to watch me do the same thing 3 times in a row. Actually 4, because I'm going to put one over here. The day before yesterday, when I was working on the other one, I swear I looked through 3 or 4 pin cushions, a couple needle books, and a drawer and a work basket, trying to find the needle I wanted, and now I can't find it, and this is not it. This one's a little, no, that's just a sewing needle. It might be that one, or it might be this one. Oh, I think it's this one. Yes, thank you, baby Jesus. Merry Christmas. This one is big, but it has a weird eye, and I always struggle to get the thread in it, floss in it. This one is a smaller needle, which I like better, but usually I can thread it. Yeah, see? No struggle at all. All right, we all have our happy place when it comes to our tools, don't we? That's way too long of a thread. Boy, kind of nonsense was that one. I cut that one off, I guess. I'm paying attention. That's enough to do all 3 windows. I started to say, and I got distracted, that I've been thinking about doing some kind of, it's inspired by little houses. And it's been on my brain for quite a while. And I keep coming up with, different things that maybe that would work, and I never really follow through with it. So this was, I work as a studio assistant to my friend who lives in the greenhouse. Very part-time. And so when the weather's nice, and for me, the weather being nice is under 70 degrees, and even if it's raining, I don't care. But, okay, I'm back. I had to take a brief pause for a phone call. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh, my inspiration for doing little houses. See, I keep getting distracted on this. And I was walking down there and got to their house. I'm like, there's just such a cute little half a block of our city with these cute little houses with their picket fences. And then I was walking home and I was thinking about some other projects that I needed to do. And I went, oh, that's what I could do. I can stitch some little, these things, pieces of their houses. And I had just done a little art show at Anne's house a couple weeks ago. And I had put together another little collage piece in these shadow boxes that I've been floating around my workroom for who knows how long. And I thought, oh, if I cut my wool that I put the other one on, just the right size to go in those frames, then these will be easy to frame up and for them to put on the wall, instead of, if I make them like a hanging wall quilt, then sometimes that's difficult for people to figure out how to put up. And I just want to be able to put a nail in the wall, stick it up. Okay. I decided to just go ahead and do these center lines of these windows on all three of them across here. And, you know, way it's basting them. But then they're all in a kind of a straight line, so the windows don't look particularly wonky. And then I take the dang pins out. Quit poking myself. So I can tell this is my favorite needle because it's got just a slight bend to it from my thumb, from holding it. And it's like a well-worn pair of shoes. It has just molded itself to my body, and it makes me very happy. Except when I get it stuck, and that's just a me thing. Okay, now since I still have thread here, I'm gonna go around this one from here. Try to keep it straight till I run out of thread, and then we'll move on. I enjoy watching artists on YouTube, be them fabric stitching artists or collage artists or watercolorists or what have you, work on projects in real time and just kind of follow along with them. Not necessarily work with them, but just watch their whole process. But this whole thing is not going to be done in 45 minutes or less. So, okay, I want to do the roof, and I don't know what thread I want to use. Maybe that one's kind of different shades of ivory and gray. I know the houses have metal roofs. So both of these houses, and the two in between them, my other friend's house and the bookstore, were hit really hard by the tornado in 2023. I had to remember when I moved here and when the tornado happened. After the tornado, drove down there, went down there. All of Anne's, this whole roof was gone. The porch, it was, oh, I should put porch railings in. Well, maybe I'll do that later with something else I'll get clever with. Whole roof was gone. David's house, he lost a couple chimneys and had roof damage, but it wasn't quite as catastrophic. And the two houses in the middle, between their houses, also pretty badly damaged. So, battery replacement. Anyway, I would think before the battery died, I was talking about the tornado hitting these houses. So they have these brand new, beautiful metal shingle roofs. I was supposed to get one after the tornado, but that hasn't happened yet. So we won't talk about that situation. It's just one of the many things that have led to my frustration over the last couple of years. Anyway, this is about, what is with me in these extra long threads today? I don't know. I'm going to do a little connected blanket stitch here to kind of look like the shingles. And I may have to have a little quiet time or brain contemplation time, because when I did this the other day, I kept struggling with, like, where do I put my needle next? So hopefully I won't have that same struggle today. The first row is easy. It's just basic blanket stitch across the roof line here. And I think when I did it the other day, I actually cut my thread and went back to the beginning, but then I figured out how I can go back and forth. let's see if I remember what I came up with the other day. Okay, now I'm going to take my, the eye part of my needle, go under that leg, and then between the two, this right here at the end is kind of fiddly because they're tight together. So once I get back into the middle here, shouldn't be a problem. Okay, now my working thread's gone under the leg of the row above, and I'm going to go like that. And where I come back up, if I want them to be kind of V-shaped on the bottom, I want to come back up a little lower than this line. I hope that makes sense. Like that. So then it kind of goes down at an angle. After I do a few more, you'll see what I'm talking about. Again, not intended to be a tutorial, but if you're watching and you're interested in what I'm doing, I should share with the class how I came to this working solution. Keep my fingers out of the way so you can see what I'm actually doing. That would maybe help too. Oops. My working hands are not working very well today. Between being dry, cold, I also have a rough spot on that fingernail, that thumbnail that keeps snagging the thread. I'm a mess, evidently. Okay. Again, I'm having a bit of a, okay, come here, gonna go under that leg, there we go, and go down here. This kind of makes a honeycomb, but I think it makes a really cool shingle look. Now, if you wanted it to be more of a brick look, you just don't, when you come back up to here, you come back up on the same line as the legs, the feet of the legs of the row ahead of you. But I want it, and I accidentally did that on a little bit of the one on the other house, but if I were to take this stitching little houses idea further, and I had to do a brick house, it would be a lot of stitching, but you know, you could do that. Am I going to have the exact amount of thread after cutting it way too long to start with? I can pretend I did it on purpose and I knew exactly how much I was supposed to have, but that would be a lie. And I do my best not to lie to y'all. And just down here on this end, I'm just gonna kind of fudge around a little bit, make it, just kind of tack these down. I'm not gonna do any kind of fancy ending, just that. There we go. Okay, what other parts are different? Well, let's put this little bit. I think I mean, I probably would stitch the background of the lower part of the house, the side the porch part of the house, if I were taking, yeah, but I'm gonna just sew this down, and I think, is there a piece of, nah, that's not enough. I'm gonna use white, because I think on the other one I used a beige thread, but I'm gonna use white. Maybe that'll kind of brighten it up a little bit. Chain stitch. I mean, I just tacked it down with little tacking stitches when I did it on the other house, which I could do. But a chain stitch might bring some of, or that might be the way to do it. And then the hearts are just hanging down. That's what I'm gonna do. I hope my two friends don't get together, and I mean, we're gonna be together on Christmas morning, but you know, compare and contrast their two stitchings, their two pieces, and go, ah, she gave you extra this or that or the other thing on yours. You know, it's the beauty of handmade. No two are ever exactly alike. Even if you're following a pattern, they're never exactly alike. Again, I'm just going to do a bunch of extra little stitches here on the end to hold this down. This is going to be in a frame behind glass, in a shadow frame, shadow box type frame. And so it's not going to get any kind of handling or wear and tear necessarily. I'm just going to try. You could, you know, get a couple little dots of glue to hold all this stuff, you know, right where you want it. But like glue based it. I think I can hold it with enough precision. I could still put a strip of this on the other one if I decide that it needs the white. But taking my conversation back around to where it was whenever ago, 2 phone calls and a battery change ago, that, speaking of which, yes, okay. Now, I don't know when you're watching this. If you're watching it when I have just published it, it's right around Christmas 2025. If you've just discovered me and it's, I don't know, July of 2026 or something fun like that, well, welcome to future us. But what the heck, cat? You know, housewarming parties, that kind of thing. But it is Christmas right now, which is the point I'm trying to get to. It's here in at least the northern hemisphere. Shout out to all my Kiwis and Aussies, but and by all is probably like 3 of you. But hey, I'm glad you're here. Where it is not winter, not, well, where does it snow down there? Anywhere? I don't know. Anyhow, tangents. You could make a little Christmas village of fabric Christmas villages, Christmas, you know, scenes or something if you got really fun and creative. you could do gingerbread houses. That's where I kind of was thinking, especially with this white satin cord stuff. It looks like royal icing. So I don't know if I have any scraps of fabric over here that are gingerbread colored. Here we go. Make some little gingerbread houses. And I mean, you could do tiny. You could just do like one little, oh, let's have fun with this, y'all. I mean, I'm gonna go back to my actual stitching, but you know, just if I had some green felt, I would put this on a piece of green felt, but let's pretend this is, actually, do I have? All right, I don't, but I have this. So let's pretend. You could put that on there. I don't know which way's up on this camera. Put some white, couch some white cording around it. Just, I don't know, make your little windows, your little door with your white thread. Sew some beads on for snowballs or candy things. Oh, there's all kinds of things. You could do like a little pinwheel spiral stitch and do it in red and white, make like a little candy mint thing. I don't know. Think of the fun you could have. And y'all, you have about a week. Get to it. I should have done Vlogmas and I should have planned ahead, and that would have been my thing. So stick around for a year and I will try my darndest to have the wherewithal and the time and the mental space and all the things to do that kind of thing next holiday season. I split a thread there on that lace and it doesn't want to go through. So put a pin in that idea. Don't, well, you can steal it, I don't care. But put a, where did it go? Put a pin in that idea and we'll come back to it in 11 months or so. And see where we go with that. Okay, I'm gonna do the rest of these windows, the background of the yellow and the other little window, which I've now moved so many things around on this desk I probably lost it. So here's gonna be my other, I mean, he has two little windows. Maybe I will cut another little square to have two. There were more than, because I had cut 3 windows that were too small. Anyway, here we go. Nope, that ain't it. Anyway, and the door and the walkway. Okay, then for the lawn part, the grass part, again, I'm just trying to keep, oh, and then we have the porch railing. So we have to work from back to front, just like any collage, right? So I'm gonna find the other little piece of blue. So I have 2 windows. It's here somewhere, probably, maybe, let's hope. So I'm gonna work back to front, and then I'm gonna stitch on my little porch railing. And so for, you know, I'm just going to do, well, actually on the grass part, I'm going to do vertical running stitch, just like I did across here, just to give it a little different direction, just different type. You can't even see it, as you can see here with the, this one, you can't really see it. Then I think I did 2 directions, kind of a crosshatch on the brick. I wish I could find more of that. Is that big enough to make a walkway? No. Anyhow, I'll either use this little piece of fabric or a different one to make the brick walkway. And then, but this is really what, oddly enough, when I was walking by their house the other day, and I was kind of planning this in my brain, what really got me excited was using freaking jumbo rickrack for their picket fence. The rest of this was just frosting on the cupcake. It was just, bonus, figuring out how to do all the other little parts, bits and parts. And I think these porch windows and this, I'm just gonna whip stitch on. So the rest of the stitching, except for the grass and the sidewalk, are gonna be very simple stitching. I just gotta work up. Anyway, rambling. Was when I was thinking of putting jumbo rickrack as their picket fence. I don't know why, it just excited me. It just made me happy. Just the idea. So, there, in real life, are 2 houses between their houses. And maybe someday I'll make the rest of them. I'm friends with the person in the blue house. It's actually her daughter. And then the next house is David's bookstore. So I could do all of them. But because wouldn't that be cute? That would be so cute. Nice little gift. You could use these for, like I said, I'm going to put them in frames. Because I know that the recipients, that would make it easiest for them to have them in frames that they can sit on a shelf or they can hang on the wall. But you could do little, each of these could do 2 more, and they could be sides of a rice bag box type thing. Or you could do them larger scale and make them into cushion covers for, couch cushions, what have you. But I like the idea of just a little sweet something for friends. Anyhow. Well, I am so glad that you joined me today to sit and stitch and work on this little last-minute Christmas project that I wanted to do. And I hope your winter season is joyful, peaceful, full of love, and people you enjoy being around. Isn't that what we all want? And your new year brings nothing but blessings and happiness. And this will probably be the last video for this year, but I have one that I'm working on, like a year-end wrap-up, but it might be a year-end wrap-up and welcome to the new year. We'll see the next week or two, time-wise, what happens, if it gets out. But I do hope you stick around with me and come back for the new year, for 2026, because I have some things in store. I have some changes planned. I have some a lot of new projects planned, and I want to do more of this kind of thing, of sitting and stitching and kind of faceless work, although I don't mind having my face on camera. I kind of enjoy just sitting down and chatting with you. But I really need 2026 to be a little calmer, a little more steady and stable, and full of art, full of creativity, full of people I love. That includes you. If you're watching this video and you've stuck through to the end, then you are on my nice list for 2025, and you are, I'm just so heartfelt, gratitude for all of you. Even if this is the only video of mine you watched, thank you. And come back for more, go back for old stuff, whatever floats your boat. Leave me a message, and we will talk again. Peace out. Love you lots. Take care of yourselves. Happy holidays and Happy New Year. And I don't know what else. Thanks for watching.